This is what we ate in a day with 5 plant-based kiddos while we meal prep. Let's go.
Good morning, everyone. So for breakfast today, we are making something out of chickpeas.
On the menu this morning, we are having a chickpea patty, sort of like a chickpea omelet with some kimchi.
So to prep the chickpeas, we usually just soak some chickpeas overnight. And then once it's been soaked overnight, it kind of helps with the digestion process. It kind of softens it up a little bit. It absorbs all of the water inside of the bean itself, and it just makes it a little bit softer. So for breakfast, we're going to blend up. This is still raw, so don't use canned chickpeas. This is still the raw version. We are going to put that in a blender, add some water, add some seasonings, and we're gonna make sort of an omelet, and we'll serve it up for breakfast.
We are using our trusty Blendtec blender. We added just enough water to cover the chickpeas, and then we're going to bring it over to the table to season it up. If you are in the market for a new blender, definitely check out the Blendtec. We are not sponsored by this brand, but we definitely love them and we highly recommend them. We even use it for milling our own freshly milled grains. We are seasoning it with whatever seasonings we like. If you want it a little bit eggy, you can try Indian black salt, which is kala namak, and we love this as well, just to add that sulfuric eggy taste if you want.
So you end up with some sort of a little batter like this. It's kind of like a thick pancake batter. We've oiled these 2 pans with some grapeseed oil. We're going to preheat it, and then we are now just going to make you can either make smaller patties or you can make a larger one. I think to save some time, we're gonna make a few large ones. You can also add some onions, spring onions, whatever that you want in here as well. We're just gonna leave it plain because we got stuff to do.
All we're doing is just lowering it slowly, the batter into the pans. It is kind of like cooking pancakes, except it's made out of chickpeas. And it's more of like a savory batter here. You can flatten this if you like to. We like to make it sort of a thicker pancake batter. I may have added a little bit too much oil in the very first batch, but that's okay. We're going to slowly flip these whenever they are ready to. Each side takes about a couple of minutes to cook only. When they're ready, we're going to transfer it onto a plate. I've already spotted a thief amongst us. There's always one who sneaks a little taste test before everything is ready. I am going to serve this with some kimchi. Why? Because I felt like it. I thought this was going to add a nice, delicious little tangy, spicy touch to it. Plus, of course, all of the benefits of fermented foods and a little bit of B12 in it too. We totally suggest that you try some of these just to change it up in your daily breakfast diet. Sometimes avocado toast is sort of overdone. So this is still really quick and easy and so delicious. It took a while for me to get this bite on this fork, but when I did, look at it, how beautiful. This is our first little taste tester here. I, of course, employed some taste testers just to make sure the seasoning is on point. Now it's time to finish up making the rest of them. I'm going to serve everyone a patty. I'm also going to chop up some pineapples because we had a pineapple left over in the fridge that needed to be eaten. And there you have it. The kids enjoyed this breakfast. We just served it with a lovely plate of pineapples. Everything was delicious.
All right, so I have a pot of brown rice here that I have made. We are going to make sort of a Korean style type of like a rice bowl. I want to make some of our bok choy. We've also got some little mushrooms, and I've got some tofu, and we've got some kimchi, so I'm going to use that up. Let me just let this rice kind of sit to the side, and then I'm going to prepare all the ingredients for sort of like a little side dishes for our rice bowl.
Our local grocery store recently got some organic bok choy in, and I was so excited. This is Mercy's favorite vegetable to eat. She can eat this raw. We are actually going to serve this with some onions and garlic. And the way that we prepare this is going to be so easy. But first, let's start off with the tofu and the mushrooms. In this pot, we have some onions that we're going to saute in some oil. We're also going to add slices of ginger and some sesame oil. Then we have Mercy chop up some tofu squares here. So we're going to add that together with the onions to start absorbing that flavorful oil. I'm also using some mushrooms. These look like enoki mushrooms, but they're a little bit different. They're not called enoki on the listing. They do have a lovely texture and flavor, and we love to add this in any dish. We were unfortunately out of coconut amino, so we just added some salt, some spring onions, and we had a quick taste here. Let's see what Mercy thinks.
Is it salty enough?
Perfect. We took that out and we set that aside in a bowl. So now it's time to make our bok choy. We just sauteed some onions and some oil, added a little bit of garlic here, and then just added a whole bunch of bok choy, which I have just sliced the butts off. I have the fire cranked up high, and we're going to slowly start to mix this in. The steam and the heat is going to start slowly wilting these vegetables. We don't want to overcook these though, so that's important. We like to keep them quite young. We are also drizzling some sesame oil in here. You don't have to, but we like the flavor. It kind of adds a nutty, Asian-y flavor, and we love it. We're going to also add some salt to it. We added about 1.5 teaspoons for all of our vegetables. We're covering it slowly, cooking it a little at a time. And once it's done, we are now ready to serve with our rice. We generally like to use brown rice instead of white rice. We're going to add a generous portion of vegetables to all of our plates. Are you a fan of leafy greens? And if so, what is your favorite type of leafy green to eat? Let us know in the comments. Now I am just serving up a little portion of the mushrooms and tofu. This was my favorite part of lunch. It was totally delicious. And then to finish it off with some garnish, we are of course using some kimchi. Kimchi is absolutely delicious. We love this, and it's actually very appropriate in this rice bowl. Do our kids eat kimchi? Of course they do. You saw that they ate the kimchi on our chickpea omelets or chickpea patties, whatever you want to call breakfast. So of course, they are going to have it here in their rice as well. And you know what? They actually are huge fans of kimchi. They actually really love kimchi. They can eat rice and kimchi for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We don't have picky eaters. They are very diverse in their palates. We like to introduce our kids to every different culture and foods that we can as much as possible, whenever possible.
This is my bowl. We are in the middle of meal prepping. We had to take a little bit of a break to make lunch, so this is what we made. It looks beautiful. We ran out of coconut aminos, which would have probably been a good component in this, but it's still really tasty. The kids are enjoying it. We just mix it up. Oopsie. So simple, so easy. I guess we're on a kimchi train today. We use kimchi for both of our breakfast and lunches. Alrighty, let me finish my lunch and we are going to continue working on our meal prep.
We were making some cinnamon rolls while we were meal prepping. Actually, this was part of our meal prep. We are trying to perfect our own cinnamon roll recipe, which we can then share it to you. But this is what we made for meal prep. And of course, we had a little loaf that we made, and the kids couldn't wait. So we had some of these little leftover mini cinnamon rolls for a snack.
Ooh, I want that one. Smells delicious. No, I don't want that one. I'm cutting everything out. Tastes like apple cinnamon rolls.
Alrighty, for dinner tonight, we are keeping things very simple. We baked some bread for our meal prep, and it's been a long day. So we're just gonna have some of this bread. It's nice and crusty. It's beautiful. We also have some baked beans here. And I will show you a little clip of how we made it.
In a pot here, I am adding a large can of crushed tomatoes. I'm also going to add a little bit of water, and then we're going to season it up with some onions, chipotle powder, some smoked paprika, ancho chili powder. We love the smokiness. We're also going to add some sweetness with about a 3/4 cup of sugar, and we're going to use some cannellini beans. This is my version of baked beans just over on the stove. We don't bake these, we're going to just cook it in a pot, and it is so easy and so delicious. For our meal prep today, Israel was in charge of making some bread, so he is making our very simple yeast dough. We are using some freshly milled spelt flour here. We did a little bit of an experiment by using this large proofing Benetton here. We're going to roll out the dough. We are going to try to form it as best as possible. We used a little bit too much yeast in this, so it did sort of overproof, but that's okay. We're going to still put it in this Benetton. We let that proof for a little bit, then we're going to bake it in a hot oven. Once it's done, it is nice and crusty on the outside, really nice and soft on the inside.
So then all we're doing is just serving it with some olive oil, some of our baked beans, which is kind of like it's a stovetop baked beans. It's tomato based. We put some cannellini beans in it. We added some mustard, some coconut sugar to make it a little bit sweet and a little bit spicy from the chipotle spice. That's it. That's all we're having for dinner tonight.
It's bomb. But it needs to be more spicy.
That is not spicy.
I can't taste any spice. Yeah, my mom.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us in the kitchen and watching what we ate today. We really hope that we inspired you to eat some healthy, some easier foods. Let us know what you would like to try next. We would love for you to subscribe to our channel if you're new, and we'll see you on the next video.
Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. Bye. Here's my meaties.